So welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room, another Art of Letting Go live session. So we'll have a look at our email for today, the quote, the teaching, and that'll lead us nicely into our lesson. We're going to do the insert as well on what is the ego for the last time. So move on to another insert message tomorrow. And there's also a bit of the Song of Prayer to do. So let's jump in, shall we? Okay, so share my screen. Okay, so if you can read that headline quote from Viktor Frankl for us, please.
Yeah. Forces beyond your control can take away everything you possess except one thing: your freedom to choose how you will respond to the situation. Yeah, and he was put to the extreme.
Viktor Frankl, who was, just a bit of background on him, he was a Holocaust survivor, wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning after spending 3 years in various Nazi concentration camps that killed his parents, his brother, and his wife. So his entire family is wiped out during World War II. So apart from the extreme physical limitation and discomfort of being in the camp, he's living with the knowledge that actually his entire family, everyone he cared about, is gone. So what kept him going? Well, there was this. He had this thought that he was going to write a book based on his experience. He somehow knew that this was part of his life's journey, that this was the crucible in which this new philosophy of logotherapy that he'd been thinking about. He was a newly qualified psychotherapist just before the war, young, newly married, hadn't started a family yet, and obviously bright. He'd had some of these ideas, but in the crucible of his experience in the concentration camps, this philosophy obviously crystallized. And so he had time to think about it. And his goal was, I need to survive so that I can write a book about my experience after this, which he duly did. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's been an international bestseller. I think it sold something like 16 million copies. One of the most profound books I've read, so I can highly recommend reading it if you haven't. And he really is talking very much along the lines of the course. So there it is, by the way, on a PDF. If you want to read it on PDF, I've sent you the link in the email. So the whole philosophy, his idea was that people's desire to find meaning in their lives is their primary driving force in life, rather than, say, other psychological theories, schools of thought. The Freudian school, which was all about pain and pleasure, said people, either avoid pain or they desire pleasure. Those are the two governing forces in people's lives. There's the Adlerian school, which said it's all about power. People want, power. They'll do anything to get power. Those all have some validity. But he said, above all that, there's this transcendent need for meaning. What is the meaning of our lives that every human being is searching for? And we find that meaning in the freedom of choice. What he's saying here in this quote is that we always have the freedom to choose how we respond to any situation. So a situation is what it is. We don't necessarily have any conscious control over a situation. For instance, he's in a Nazi concentration camp. Okay, apparently out of his control. He's being held there against his will. He can't leave. The conditions are what they are. He can't change them. all he can do is accept. Okay, this is what it is, and find some way to to live in peace in these very challenging circumstances. So he realized experientially that this is true. You always have a choice of how you respond to any situation, no matter how quite bad it appears to be on the level of form. And you can't get many worse living conditions than a Nazi concentration camp, because it was just tough to survive day by day. At any point, you could be killed. It was commonplace for the guards just to shoot prisoners. If they didn't like you, it's like this could be your last day. So you were walking on eggshells the whole time. So as Yesha puts it so well in section 1 of the clarification terms, in this world, the only remaining freedom. Want to read that?
In this world, the only remaining freedom is freedom of choice, always between two choices or two voices.
So every time you choose to forgive or let go of any negative thought or emotion, you're exercising this freedom by choosing the Holy Spirit, or an alternative language, the remembrance of perfect love, rather than the ego, which is the belief in separation. You're making the right choice and choosing to listen to the right voice. So inherent in this letting go philosophy is choice. You must choose to let go. So why don't you always make the right choice by forgiving or letting go of any thoughts and emotions that are seemingly causing you to suffer? It's a good question, because everyone still has a deep-seated belief that they're a separate self living in a body, in a world that seems to be outside of them and capable of causing them to suffer. And this belief makes us forget that we do always have a choice about how we respond to any situation. There's huge resistance to this radical responsibility. It's not actually that radical, it's just the truth. And in a world of upside down thinking, the thought that I'm creating my reality and I always have a choice is quite radical, because you can't blame anyone or anything else then. It's like my state of mind is my choice. It's not the outside circumstances that are dictating. So how do I free my mind from this persistent belief, you may ask? But you already know the answer, because you're doing this Art of Letting Go program. Every time you choose to meditate, you read and reflect on a mind training lesson, you attend a live session, you do any of the other key spiritual practices I recommend in the Art of Letting Go program, you're choosing to exercise your one remaining freedom and taking another step on your hero's journey home to heaven, which, remember, is the state in which you are only aware of and experiencing the state of pure formless awareness. And in that state, you experientially know that perfect love or oneness is true. And why is this the case? You might ask, in what logical next question, because spiritual practices like these ones, the meditations, the live sessions, and so on, help you to become more aware of negative, I'll say negative thoughts that negate your true thoughts. They help you to become more aware of these negative thoughts and emotions. In other words, thoughts that negate or block the pure formless awareness of perfect love as they arise, and then consciously make the choice to let them go. And this is the process of forgiveness or letting go, as we call it, that will ultimately free your mind from all its blocks to the awareness of love's presence, as Yeshua calls the ego in the introduction to the text. Okay, so there's the intro. If you can read that, it's a nice summary, really, of the entire course.
This is a course in miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at any given time. The Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Now, could you lift that up? Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. I should know that off by heart. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's, as he said, it's a summary of the whole course. And it's been said, if you fully understood the introduction, you wouldn't need the course. Those 3 lines, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. If you really understood those and you lived those, there's no need for any course. You would get it. But who understands it the first time you read them? Okay. Maybe conceptually I can try and understand that. Nothing real can be threatened. Okay, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. But
you'll get it when you
to actually deeply understand, there's a whole mind training process that you've got to go through to understand those simple lines. Which is why he's given us the course. So, okay, well, I've summarized it. But to really understand this, you're going to need to go through some mind training. There's a process of undoing that's got to be gone through. He's saying here, whether you like it or not, the curriculum is set. You can't change that. At some point, you're going to have to learn the truth, because the truth is true and it's beyond your ability to change. And then he qualifies the scope of his course up front. He says, I can't teach you the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. That's why it's not called a course in love. It's a course in miracles, which are about changing your mind. So he says, no, I can't teach you the meaning of love, but I can teach you how to remove the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So he's qualifying. What I love about this introduction is not just a summary of the overall message. He's actually giving us his approach. He's saying, okay, this is how I'm going to approach this whole course. This is the scope. This is the framework of the course. Can't teach you the meaning of love, because that's beyond what can be taught, but I can teach you how to let go of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. And so that's where the course is directed, to teach you how to let go of those blocks. Opposite of love is fear. What is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. It's a bit like a Zen koan, those 2 lines, 3 lines. The 3rd line is pretty understandable. Herein lies the peace of God. Okay. But those first 2, wow, nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. Simple words, 2 simple sentences. But to really understand that requires a deep understanding of who you are, of reality, and an experiential understanding. That's knowledge. Oh, so great introduction. And the reason I've put my sculpture of the David there is because Michelangelo, sculptor, when he was asked how he did it, said, well, all I did was cut away what was not David. I removed what was not him from the block of marble, so whatever was superfluous. And then what revealed itself was this perfect sculpture. which is interesting that he did it that way. He wasn't thinking, I'm trying to create this. He said, I'm just taking away what is superfluous to reveal the perfection that's already there. And you look at the way it's sculpted, it's so lifelike. Look at the definition on the muscles and amazing detail. So how did he do it? Well, he just cut away what was not the David to reveal what was David. Okay, so that's very symbolic of what we're trying to do. So it's only by forgiving or letting go repeatedly of these blocks that cover over our true self, and doing this persistently, as persistent as the ego or belief in separation tries to block your awareness of love's beneficent presence, that you can and will free yourself from the suffering the ego causes. So it requires, this persistent willingness to say, well, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep stepping up. I'll keep letting go, no matter what. It's not a one-time process. So that leads us into practicing this again. This lesson is particularly about the suffering. I can be free of suffering today. Or alternatively, I am free. I am just claims it now rather than I can be. A potential possibility. It's I am claims it and says, yes, it is so. And as we know, as you claim it to be so, true prayer is the prayer of affirmation, of gratitude. Yes, it is so already. Not I will it to be so, I want it to be so. No, it is so already. I am free of suffering today. All right, so let's jump into the lesson, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's bring up the Word document. Now, where are we? 338. You seem to have brought it up. Okay, and one will find it. File. 340 is what I want. Okay, so let's have a look at, should we do the insert for the last time, and then we'll do the lesson. So what is the ego? Moving on to another one tomorrow, so it's the last time we'll do it this year.
Mm-hmm.
You want to read that in the alternative paragraph?
Yeah. The ego or belief in separation is false, the sign of a limited and separated self, born in a body doomed to suffer and to end its life in death. It is the will that perceives the pure formless awareness of perfect love as enemy and takes a form in which it is denied. The belief in separation is the proof that strength is weak and love is fearful. Life is really death, and what opposes pure formless awareness of perfect love alone is true. So it's just saying about the ego being a belief in separation, and it's false, it's limited, it's born in a body that's doomed to suffer and die, and it's, well, the pure formless awareness of perfect love is its enemy and will do everything to separate itself from that. And it sees love is fearful and strength is weak. Yeah.
And so what he's saying is it's a complete inversion. The reason why you can't reconcile the ego and the Holy Spirit with fear and love is because they're completely opposite. No reconciliation. It's completely opposite and contradicts everything that the other says. And so the thought systems are completely at odds, and they will never reconcile. And Yeshua's just asking us to accept that simple truth. If you do accept that, then the only possible way out of the dilemma is to let go of the false. So my way out of this split mind delusion is to let go of what's false so that it's no longer a choice. Okay. Happy with number one. Let's go to number two then.
The belief in separation is insane. In fear, it stands beyond the everywhere, apart from all, in separation from the infinite. In its insanity, it thinks it has become a victor over pure formless awareness of perfect love itself. And in this terrible autonomy, it sees that pure formless awareness of perfect love has been destroyed. It dreams of punishment and trembles at the figures in its dreams, its enemies who seek to murder it before it can ensure its safety by attacking them. So again, it's, going into quite clear how insane the belief in separation is, and how we're separated from our infinite, and how we can think that way is insanity.
Yeah, let's just open this. So if we look at the diagram, sent into hell if you want. Yeah, there we go. And this demonstrates it quite clearly. It's saying this is the denial. The ego is the denial of God, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And it's the stubborn belief that now this is true and this is false. So the ego believes that you've destroyed love and therefore you're guilty for it. That's its central premise. You have actually done the impossible. You've destroyed God, perfect love, your own true awareness, anything that's pure and holy and beautiful. And now, for this terrible crime, this terrible sin, you must suffer. And then, we see the descent into hell shows us all the ways that suffering plays out. From the engine room of guilt and sin, inevitably fear is produced as a false expectation of punishment appearing real. Fear demands punishment, so now attack seems to be real. So you defend against apparent attacks from outside, and you attack others in self-defense, supposedly. Okay, so that lays out, really the whole disaster. It's a nightmare dream of the ego, with all of its ugliness. And by naming it in this way, making it very explicit, it becomes much harder to let it go, much easier to let it go. It doesn't choose any of this. If I really want guilt and sin and fear and attack thoughts and accusation, blame and complaint, and feeling like I'm a helpless, innovative little life, a victim of the world. Do I really want that? Or am I willing to let it all go, accept the reinterpretation of the Holy Spirit, of all of this, which is what he's now pointing to in paragraph 3. So he never leaves us in the ego. He says, okay, that's what the ego's misperception is. But actually, the reality is this. So if you want to read number 3.
The extension of perfect love is without the belief in separation. What can I know of madness and the death of perfect love when I live in pure formless awareness of perfect love? What can I know of sorrow and suffering when I live in eternal joy? What can I know of fear and punishment, sin and guilt, and hatred and attack, when all there is surrounding it is everlasting peace, forever conflict-free and undisturbed in deepest silence and tranquility? Well, again, it's just saying being in this perfect love is completely without the belief in separation, and it doesn't know of any of the madness of death and, suffering and sorrow. It only knows eternal joy, and there's no conflict. It's deepest silence and tranquility. So why don't we just choose pure formless awareness of perfect love?
Yeah. Yeah. So what he's trying to do is make it completely logical. This is their only choice. It's the only sane, rational choice. If you caught up in a nightmare dream, the bottom of this ladder of separation, thinking that you really are living in body as a victim of a cruel outside world, your choices are very limited. He's saying, and as Viktor Frankl echoed, you always have the power of choice. You can choose how you respond to anything. He's saying we must choose. There's no in order to find any kind of peace of mind in this world, you never find it in the ego's thought system because it's a disaster designed to disturb your peace, not to bring you peace. So the only way out of this is to reinterpret the ego's dream with the Holy Spirit, with the awareness of perfect love, moments of perfect love. Okay. And he's pointing us to deeper silence and tranquility. This everlasting peace. Peace comes when you are in the state of pure formless awareness. It can come from nowhere else. There is no other way. Is what this is saying. So why not just accept that? Okay, there's no other way, and I accept that, and let me do what I need to do, which is just let go of anything that seems to disturb that covers over this awareness. That's all I have to do in this world. So it's simple, but it's not easy because we're so deeply embroiled in the dream. You think we're this character living in this dream world, but it's all very real. We have these physical experiences of it. Just recognizing none of that's true, none of that's real. Okay, so okay with number 3. Should we move on to number 4?
Yes. Mm-hmm. 4.
No reality.
To know reality is not to perceive the belief in separation and its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, and its beliefs, its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its freedom, and the cost belief in it entails. In suffering, the price for faith in it is so immense that crucifixion of the extension of perfect love is offered daily at its darkened shrine, and blood must flow before the foundation of its thought system, where its sticky followers prepare to die. Yeah, this is where it's very graphic. So
Yeah, another call them stick paragraphs. It's like, okay, there's the stick of the ego. Because he can't sugarcoat it. The reason why this course is effective is he doesn't sugarcoat the ego. He doesn't say, oh, well, it's kind of all right. You can manage your ego, even though it's psychotically insane, wants to kill you. You can kind of manage this. No, it's like saying you're going to live with a psychopathic killer in your house permanently. And that's some kind of, sustainable solution. At any point, the killer could turn on you and attack you and kill you. But, somehow you're going to find peace. It's clearly you're not. The way out of that is to rout the expel the psychopathic killer out of the house. then you can find a state of calm and peace and tranquility where things are stable. Okay, so pretty graphic. He's telling us exactly what the ego is. It's all about death and suffering. He doesn't leave us there. What I like about this one is he's saying that its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, its beliefs, its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its freedom and the cost belief it entails. All of them are false. Okay, and then he doesn't leave us there. In the darkness, he always brings in the light. And says one lily of forgiveness. A lily of forgiveness is a thought of letting go, just to translate it. And darkness, change the darkness into light. Darkness is limited awareness. Like read this, just read this one in the original and the alternatives. A few of those things to translate.
Yeah. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light, the altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself. Yet one thought of letting go will transform my separate self's limited awareness into pure formless awareness, and the foundation of illusions to the home of life itself. And peace will be restored forever to the holy minds which God created as his Son, his dwelling place, his joy, his love, completely his, completely one with him. And peace will be restored forever to the pure minds with pure formless awareness of perfect love extends as its extension, its dwelling place, its joy, its love, it's completely one with itself. So, yeah.
What's he saying there?
Well, it's this lily forgiveness or letting go, just that one choice of changing your mind will make you into the pure minds of pure formless awareness. So it just takes that one lily of forgiveness to change the darkness.
If you demonstrate that visually, it's the lily of forgiveness or the thought of letting go is any of these blue arrows. So you change your mind, it takes you on the path of the blue arrow, back from identification with form and experiencing these thoughts and emotions, and it takes you back into this state or close to this state. And you get a glimpse of the state of pure formless awareness. And so eventually, through that arrow, the mechanism of the Holy Spirit, remember it's a perfect love, is to restore your mind to this perfect love, pure formless awareness of perfect love, we call it, into this domain. All right. So, any other thoughts on that?
No, that's good.
Yeah, last time I think it's quite a useful section there on the ego. It's the only time he really explicitly deals with it in a section. So throughout the course, he's saying, well, the ego is this, the ego is that, but he's just talking about aspects. Yeah, he's saying, okay, let's look at the whole thing and name it for what it is. Let's help you to understand some of this really. You see where the diagram comes from. It's the diagram's been produced from many different parts of the course that communicate these truths just to make your life a bit easier. All right, so let's go into the lesson now. Happy to move on?
Yes.
Okay, so this is lesson 340. I can be free of suffering. The message today. I want to read that in the original and the alternate version, and then paragraph 1, please.
I can be free of suffering today. I am free of suffering today.
Yeah, I'll say it. I am free.
I am free of suffering today.
Makes a difference. So I am free. It's a statement of actuality. The most powerful affirmations, prayers, are those that state something has already happened. Not I can be free. That's a potential. But I am free of suffering today. I am free of suffering today. I am free of suffering today. Just say it a couple of times. Listen to my words. Let it penetrate deeply in. I am free of suffering today. Okay, so if you want to read paragraph 1, it's just a prayer in the original alternative.
Father, I thank you for today and for the freedom I am certain it will bring. My source, I thank you for today and for the freedom I am certain it will bring. This day is holy, for today your Son will be redeemed. I am wholly aware today, for today your extension will be freed. His suffering is done, my suffering is over. For he will hear your voice directing him to find Christ's vision through forgiveness and be free forever from all suffering. For I hear your voice directing me to find my true self's vision through letting go and be free forever from all suffering. Thanks for today, my Father. Thanks for today, my source. I was born into a world, but to achieve this today, this day, and what it holds in joy and freedom for your holy Son and for the world he made, which is released along with him today. I was born into this world only to experience this day and what it holds in joy and freedom for your extension and the world it made, which is released along with me today. On the top.
Yeah.
My source, I thank you for today and for the freedom I am certain it will bring. I am wholly aware today, for today your extension will be freed. My suffering is over, for I hear your voice directing me to find my true self's vision through letting go and be free forever from all suffering. Thanks for today, my source. I was born into a world only to experience this day and what it holds in joy and freedom for your pure extension and the world it made, which is released along with me today. So the prayer's just, tuning into our source to let us know that our suffering can be over now, today, just by letting go and freeing ourselves and going back to our inheritance, the source. So we were born in this world to experience this day, which is what holds us.
And some people say, well, is this a special lesson? He says this. Is this it? I'm going to become enlightened today. And really what he's saying is every day is this. Every moment is this. That's the teaching. Every moment is a moment where you can connect with your source and experience the joy and freedom that comes from that by letting go of your ego. That's available to you every moment of every day. Okay, so yeah, pretty simple message. Just he's saying, get it now. Seize the day. Yesterday's lyrics we looked at. You can seize the day. Only if you want to will you fly away. So you can seize the day. You can be purely present today. You can experience the joy and the freedom that come from that. And the key to this is letting go. You just need to let go of what blocks this awareness. All right, so it's a prayer, just one short paragraph more in the lesson.
Be glad today. I am happy today. Be glad. I am happy. There is no room for anything but joy and thanks today. There is no room for anything but joy and thanks today. Our Father has redeemed his Son this day. My source has awakened its extension today. Not one of us but will be saved today. Everyone is freed today. Not one who will remain in fear, and none the Father will not gather to himself. Awaken heaven in the heart of love. Everyone will escape from fear and unite with our source. Awaken the state of pure formless awareness and the heart of perfect love. And from the top, I am happy today. I am happy. There is no room for anything but joy and gratitude today. My source has awakened its extension today. Everyone is freed today. Everyone will escape from fear and unite in our souls. Awake in the state of pure formless awareness and the heart of perfect love. So it's just saying, I am happy. If we can affirm that today, then that is actually who we really are. And the other is the false. So we can escape from this fear and unite with our source and be in our truth, the heart of perfect love.
Yeah, it's a simple message, isn't it? It's not complicated. Very simple, straightforward. Okay, and it requires one thing: you must let go of everything else. Everything that blocks that state of awareness must be released. That opens the way to this kind of experience, deeply connected with your source, awaken as the extension of perfect love, recognizing that you are the extension. You are the extension of perfect love. It says beautifully, awaken the state of pure formless awareness and the heart. The heart of perfect love. It uses the heart to indicate feeling. Heart is about emotion. So you say heart of perfect love, it helps you to really feel it. Yeah. So speaking of which, shall we do a meditation to help us really just feel this, and then we can go into there's some text reading of the Song of Prayer on forgiveness for salvation. It's called. It's about 8 paragraphs.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so just making yourself comfortable. I'm going to meditate on today's lesson. 340. I can be free, or I am free of suffering today. So just prepare yourself, sitting comfortably in your favorite meditation posture, sitting on a chair or a couch, each shoulder apart, your back straight. Close your eyes, breathing in. Nice deep maximal inhale breath. Can be free of suffering, or I am free of suffering today. Breathing in. Nice deep breath in through the nose, blowing the stomach out. Clenching the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to lock the energy in, contract the flow of urine, squeeze the last drops of urine out. So just lock that in. It's called the root lock in yoga. And you raise the energy up the spine. Feel this warm wave of energy running up the spine. Pausing at the top of the inhale, take another sip of air in. That's a maximal full inhale breath. Say, you scan your mind, you notice any kind of suffering. It can be just a minor irritation, annoyance, to intense rage, to fear, anxiety, to a feeling of sadness, loneliness, depression, apathy, jealousy, or whatever. Just again, breathe in and notice. This is just about awareness of whatever the thought and the emotion is. Breathing it in to every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind. Maximum breath. And pause, look at any of that suffering, any pain, suffering, mental, emotional suffering, discomfort in any way. And exhale and blow it out to breathe your breath. Exhale, blow it out like a dark cloud or black smoke, leaving you. Letting it all go. Have a sense of a release, of freedom comes when you let go of it, feel a bit lighter. Just rest here for a few moments in a peaceful state. So now you're going to breathe in, just breathe in as you listen to the words and speak them and the alternative, and then hold your breath briefly as I do that. When I stop speaking, you exhale out through the nose and you say the words aloud as affirmations to yourself. So breathing in to start with, nice deep full inhale breath, maximal inhale breath, filling up the lungs. Stomach blows out, clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in. And then say, my source, pressing your source of your mind, the source of your awareness. I thank you for today and for the freedom I am certain it will bring. So repeat those aloud. So thank you. My source, I thank you for today. Breathing in again. This day is holy. So I'm wholly innocent today. I'm wholly innocent today. For today, your extension is freed. And exhale, repeat those words. I'm wholly innocent today. For today, your extension is freed. My suffering is over. My suffering is over. Say that with finality. It's over because I decided to. Doesn't matter what seems to happen in this world. It's a choice whether you're going to suffer because of it or not. My suffering is over. Breathing in again. For I hear your voice directing me to find my true self's vision. Through letting go. I hear your voice directing me to find my true self's vision through letting go. And be free from all suffering forever. Exhale. Truth of that. And just claiming your freedom. Free from all suffering now. Forever. Thanks for today, my source. Breathing in. Embracing the source, giving thanks for it in your heart. Thanks for the opportunity you have this moment and every moment to thanks for today, my source. Breathing in again. I was born into this world only to experience, only to experience this day alone. I was born into this world only to experience this day. Day of joy, freedom. Feel the freedom. It holds in joy and freedom for your pure extension. So breathe in, breathe that joy, that freedom in. Joy is a powerful feeling. I can't really explain it, but you know when you feel it. Feel that joy, that freedom that is yours by right as the pure extension. Perfect love. the world it made. So I made up the world, darkness, limitation, sickness, suffering, and death, which is released along with me today because I decide is released along with me today. So I have a sense of just letting go of all blocks to awareness of love's presence, as Yeshua phrases them. Anything that denies this pure formless awareness that causes you to suffer. Say, I am free of this. I am free of suffering today. So I'll say the final prayer. Breathing in again. I am happy today. I am happy. Say that aloud. Breathe in happiness for no other reason than that you're alive. There's no room for anything but joy and gratitude today. So breathe the joy, gratitude. To every pore, every cell, every muscle of the body. My source has awakened its extension today. And feel that in your heart, in your mind, in your whole body. Source is in you now. Everyone is free today. And let logic come and tell you otherwise. Just feel it. Everyone in this moment is free today. Everyone is freed today. Everyone will escape from fear and unite in our source. Breathe in, feel that freedom in your source. Awaken the state of pure formless awareness in the heart of perfect love. So just surrender into that state. No more needs for words. These are just pointers into the state of pure formless awareness. Just let them direct you into the state. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about. Breathe, relax, be still. Surrender inwards. Any thoughts come in to seemingly disturb this deep peace, just observe them. Particularly anything that is vaguely suffering of any kind, and just recognize it for what it is. Say, I'm free of suffering today. I am freed from suffering today. I am free. Free of suffering today. And exhale the truth of that. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just surrender to this state of freedom, deep peace, and pure fullness, awareness of perfect love. It's been called the peace that surpasses all understanding. So just quietly surrender into this state of perfect love, pure fullness, awareness of perfect love. Just rest here for minutes of deep silence. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. Just observe your breath to help keep your mind empty and clear. Allow yourself just to experience this higher state that the lesson's pointing to for the next 2 minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back from this deep state of awareness, bring some attention back into the body and the breath, senses, and the world. And on the count of three, open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in. Noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. Scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that is unpleasant. So it's any form of suffering. And you remind yourself of the simple fact that I am free of suffering today. Exhale. Blow out that suffering. A dark cloud or black smoke. It's leaving you, it's going. It's gone. Stomach to the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Count to 2, notice the weight of your body. Pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling, touching your hands. Maybe there's a subtle flow of air on your skin, notice that. Breathing in, noticing any smell in your nose as you breathe in, taste in your mouth perhaps. Notice what you're hearing. And the surrounding environment, just noticing all these things from this very, very still, calm, and surrendered state. State of mind without illusions, state of mind which only the truth is true. And exhale, just blow it out. Find a sense of peace and calm. It's been called the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, beyond all illusions. That simple truth. So set the intention to stay here in this simplicity of the truth and the peace that it brings for the rest of the session, the rest of your day. So it's said, so it's done. Now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So just take a minute to look around, just observing various objects in the room around you. With a sense of non-attachment, there's no judgment of any of it. Don't judge it, label it in any way. It's just very peaceful. Notice that this underlying peace you experience hopefully quite deeply in the last half an hour, and the meditation is still very much there. Always there in truth. Close your eyes, open your eyes, notice it hasn't really changed. Whether your eyes are open or closed, whether your senses are engaged or not, doesn't really matter. Look around to another few objects just for a few seconds at a time. Notice the same piece is there. It really doesn't matter what the object is. It doesn't matter whether your eyes are closed or open. So experiment with doing that. Alternate between eyes open and eyes closed. Just observe your inner state. It hasn't changed one bit whether your eyes are open or closed. And so you're teaching yourself that only the truth is true, this deeper awareness is the truth, and this is all that there really is. Nothing else is real. Nothing else really exists. And this deeper awareness is always there. In the early course lesson, things lesson 29 and 30 says, God goes with you wherever you go. And then the follow-up lesson, next one's God goes with you, goes with me wherever I go, because God is in my mind. So this awareness goes with you wherever you go, or because it's in your mind. And you cannot lose that awareness. It is the fundamental awareness that gives you existence. Any kind of life or existence comes from that awareness. So how can you ever lose it? The thought that you could lose it must be a delusion, which means that the ego, being the thought of the loss of that awareness, is a complete delusion. The world it's made is an illusory world as a result. So just affirm that again. And now should be prepared to go into the reading of today's section from the Song of Prayer, which is section 2.3, called Forgiveness for Salvation. Okay, so happy to go into that, Elaine?
Yep.
Let's find it. Where are we? There we go. Put that up. Song of Prayer, there we go. Forgiveness for Salvation. Okay, so this one is section 2. Sorry, it should be 2.3, I think. Forgiveness for salvation. So we did forgiveness to destroy yesterday. This is the antidote to it. Forgiveness for salvation, or in our translated language, letting go for awakening. So you want to read paragraph 1, please, in the original and the alternative.
Forgiveness for salvation has one form and only one. Letting go for awakening has one form and only one. It does not ask for proof of innocence nor pay for any kind. It does not ask for proof of innocence nor pay of any kind. It does not argue nor evaluate the errors that it wants to overlook. It does not argue nor evaluate the errors that it wants to overlook. It does not offer gifts in treachery, nor promise freedom while it asks for death. It does not offer gifts in treachery, nor promise freedom while it asks for death. Would God deceive you? Would pure formless awareness of perfect love deceive me? He but asks for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. It only asks for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. He gives his teacher to whoever asks and seeks to understand the will of God. It gives its teacher to whoever asks and seeks to understand the will of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Its readiness to give lies far beyond your understanding and your simple grasp. Its readiness to give lies far beyond my understanding, my simple grasp. Yet he has willed you learn the way to him, and in his willing there is certainty. Yet he has willed I learn the way to it, and in its willing there is certainty. So,
From the top.
letting go for awakening has one form and only one. It does not ask for proof of innocence, nor payment of any kind. It does not argue nor evaluate the errors that it wants to overlook. It does not offer gifts in treachery, nor promise freedom while it asks for death. Would pure formless awareness of perfect love deceive me? It only asks for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. It gives its teacher to whoever asks and seeks to understand the pure formless awareness of perfect love. Its readiness to give lies far beyond my understanding and simple grasp. Yet it has willed I learn the way to it, and there is certainty in its willing. So, yeah. So it's obviously about the letting go for awakening. It only comes in one form. And it doesn't ask for any proof of innocence. And it doesn't argue, doesn't evaluate errors, doesn't offer any of these treachery, or doesn't promise freedom while it asks for death. So we only ask for trust and willingness to learn how to be free. And so whoever asks can seek to understand pure forms of perfect love. So its readiness is there to give, lies far beyond our separate self-understanding and simple grasp. Yet it has willed, I learn the way to do it, and there is certainty in its will. So it's just about the willingness, and that's it really, isn't it? Letting go.
Yeah, you're just saying, yeah, you need to be willing to really, it's the humility that I don't know the way. I can't do this on my own. I don't know the way home. My way has got me completely lost in this crazy dream world. And so I've got to recognize that I don't know the way, but there is one who does. There is a teacher within me, the inner guide, the Holy Spirit, remembrance of perfect love, whatever you want to call it, that does know the way. And its function is to direct me home. So its only function is, it's been there since time began, to guide me out of the dream and find my way home back to eternity, infinity and eternity. And so it's the one constant in all the dream of form and all the shifting and the changing that seems to happen. This is the one constant we can rely on. There is a guide that is there always. It's never changed, never wavering, and it's got one clear message. It's never changed. Come back to me. Come home. Let go of your illusions. Return your awareness to me. And there is certainty in its willing. So that's the only true certainty we have. Think about, this world and this life. What can you really rely on? Level of form, you can rely on nothing. Nothing's going to last. The most established institutions, companies, governments, none of it lasts. They'll last for a while, but they will, in time, they'll fade away. None of your attachments, your addictions, your special relationships, your hobbies, your pastimes, your special interest, none of that's going to last. Can you rely on any of it? No, not in truth, if you're honest. Okay, so now I can't rely on anything on the level of form. I must look beyond that to the formless, the timeless. There lies the only certainty. There is an awareness that has been there since before time. It will be there after time is over. It's still there. That's the only certainty we have. So let me, any sensible, sane person, say, let me go into that awareness and let that awareness guide me in my thoughts, my words, and my actions, because that's the one true thing that I can rely on, that is certain, that will never change. That's my own fundamental awareness, which we call pure formless awareness of perfect love, or true awareness, or Holy Spirit, or your true self. The names don't really matter. They are just pointers to a state of awareness that is absolutely certain in the face of all the uncertainty of this world. And therein lies your faith, your confidence, your trust. You can live in the world in faith and confidence and trust because of that awareness and for no other reason. The way to that awareness is simply letting go for awakening. You must let go truly, fully and completely so that you access that awareness and that awareness alone. And there's no compromise. There's no attempt in your mind to say, well, I have a little bit of that awareness because it's quite nice, but I'm also going to hedge my bets and have my separate self directing a lot of my life. You can't do that. It's a split mind. You're going to have separate intentions, opposite goals. You never find peace of mind because you've got two different voices guiding you, saying opposite things. Imagine a situation where you're on a hike and you're guided by two people and they say completely the opposite thing of each other. It would be impossible, wouldn't it? You'd have to fire one of them. Say, well, I can't listen to both of you because you're always telling me to go in opposite directions. So I can't possibly listen to both of you and have any clear direction. I'll just be confused. So I have to fire one of you, let one of you go and listen to the other one. This is what Yeshua is saying to us in spiritual terms. You have to fire one of the guides because they're completely opposite. The guides don't agree with each other. They're always telling you to go in opposite directions. So make the right choice as to which one you fire. If you fire the Holy Spirit, then you're left with an insane, vicious entity that really hasn't got your best interests at heart, that's going to deliberately lead you into paths of pain, suffering, misery, sickness, and death so that it can kill you. So is this really a sane guide? Or are you willing to let that insane guide go and go for the one that's taking you to eternal love, peace, and joy, and completely out of this world? Those are the simple choices. And letting go, called letting go for awakening, is the choice of the correct guide. Okay. Happy with number one, Elaine?
Yep, yes.
Okay.
Number
Number two.
You're a child of God. The gifts of God are yours, not by your plans, but by his holy will. Extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love. The gifts of pure formless awareness of perfect love are mine, not by my plans, but by its innocent will. His voice will teach you what forgiveness is and how to give it as he wills it to be. Its voice will teach me what letting go is and how to give it as it wills it to be. Do not then seek to understand what is beyond you yet, but let it be a way to draw you up to where the eyes of Christ become the sight you choose. Do not then seek to understand what is beyond me yet, but let it be the way to draw me up to where the eyes of my true self becomes the sight I choose. Give up all else, for there is nothing else.
Just pause it there, Elaine. I'm just catching up.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will not just editing as you go. Seek to understand what is beyond me yet, but let it be a way to draw me up to where the eyes of my true self, to raise me up, should we say, to where the perception of my true self becomes the only perception I choose. I give up all else. Is that where you were? I give up all else.
Yeah, I give up all else, for there is nothing else. And when someone calls for me in any form, he is the one to answer to you. When someone calls for help in any form, it is the one to answer for me. All that you need to do is to step back and not interfere. All I need to do is to step back and not to interfere. Forgiveness for salvation is his task, and it is he who will respond for you. Letting go for awakening is the task, and it is it who will respond for me.
Yeah, let's say my true selves. It's talking about the Christ or the true self. My true self's task, and it is it who will respond for me. And we can just simplify that, say it will respond for me. Okay, and from the top, an alternative.
As the extension of perfect love, the gifts of perfect love are mine, not through my plans, but through its innocent awareness. Its voice will teach me what letting go is and how to let go as it wills it to be. Therefore, I will not seek to understand what is beyond me yet, but let it be a way to raise me up to where the perception of my true self becomes the only perception I choose. I give up all else, for there is nothing else. When someone calls for help in any form, it is the one to answer for me. All I need to do is to step back and not to interfere. Letting go for awakening is my true self's task, and it will respond for me. So it's saying that this is the extension of perfect love. The gifts of perfect love are already there. And through our innocent awareness, the voice will teach us the letting go is how to be with this perfect love. So we try not to seek to understand, because it's beyond us. And eventually our perception will come from our true self, which is our perception that we will choose, but we need to give all else up. But there is actually nothing else anyway.
Yeah, so this again is the call to the highest prayer. The highest prayer is not my will, but thy will be done. So I don't know the way, but I trust that there is an awareness in me, an intelligence in me that does know the way. That in any situation can help me, can guide me in my thoughts, my words, my actions. When Yeshua sent his disciples out on the road, they were a bit nervous, obviously, like, what? Like, you're sending us out 2 by 2, you're not going to be there. What are we going to do? How are we going to cope? And he just said, let it go. Just trust the Holy Spirit will be with you, and you'll be given the words. If you need to speak, you'll be given the words. If you need to take action, you'll be given the action. You'll be shown where to go, who to speak to, where to stay. People who welcome you in, then go with the flow. If they don't welcome you, then you said just turn your back, shake off the dust, and leave, go elsewhere. And he was instructing them exactly this way of living. And this is the outcome of the whole course. You live in a surrendered state of flow where it's not my will, but thy will be done. Bless you. And you can always call on this true self, because is your true self. It's always there to respond for you. So if you're in doubt, leave it and say, okay, so pause. I had a situation this morning. I could have responded. I said, no, I'm going to leave it and do a meditation and just give it to spirit. And then my response was different after that. So it gives you guidance. It gives you wisdom. It helps you deal with the myriad of situations that crop up in life, but in a truly effective way. Okay, so okay, move on to number 3.
Yeah. Do not establish what the form should be that Christ's forgiveness takes. Do not establish what the form should be that my true self's letting go takes. He knows the way to make of every call a help to you, as you arise in haste to go at last unto your Father's house. It knows the way to make of every call to help, call a help to me, as I rise in haste to go at last unto my source's house. Now can he make our footsteps sure, your words sincere, not without your own sincerity, but with his own. Now can it make my footsteps sure, my words sincere, not with my own sincerity, but with its own. Let me take charge of how you would forgive, and each occasion then will be to you another step to heaven and to peace. Let it take charge of how I would let go, and each occasion then will be to me another step to the state of pure formless awareness and to peace. And from the top, I will not dictate what the form that my true self's letting go should takes. It knows the way to make of every call a help to me. As I arise in haste to return at last to my source's awareness, now it can make my footsteps sure and my words sincere, not with my own sincerity, but with its own. I let it take charge of how I let go, and each occasion will then be to me another step to the state of pure formless awareness of eternal peace.
Yeah, what's he saying there?
Well, we can't decide what form our true self is going to, true self's letting go is going to take. So the true self knows every call to help us awaken without delay to our source's awareness. Yeah. So
its job is to take us there as quickly as possible. So if we listen to it, we're on the fast track. Shortcut, the fast track. We're going as fast as we possibly can. It may still take a lifetime. If you think about how many lifetimes you've probably had in this world or other worlds, what's one lifetime, and the remaining time of that is maybe 20, 30 years, depending on your age. You're in your early 60s, so maybe 20 years, 30 years, maybe 40 years if you live to 100. Whatever it is, it's not a long time, relatively talk. In the whole span of time, time's been going for, they say, somewhere in the region of 14, 15 billion years. It's not a long time, is it? So it's a tiny drop in the ocean of time. It's a fraction. It's really an instant. That's why I'm saying in an instant this is over. Because Although our lifetime seems to go on and on. Actually, it's very, very short. And fortunately, so we don't have to linger here unduly. Make this lifetime the last one by choosing to let go consistently, systematically, and without exception, no matter what seems to happen in this world. And then you have the way to overcome the ego and to free yourself from the whole dream. And so unfortunately, there's a guide that's going to guide you step by step on this way. And you can't do it on your own. By definition, on your own means that you've abandoned your source. That's the whole delusion. We're somehow on our own here, trying to make a go of what is a disastrous situation without the guidance of our source. And so we feel lost and alone and afraid and vulnerable and weak and all those things, because without our source, we are. And saying, well, you don't have to live this way. Return to that source, ask for the guidance, let it take charge of how I let go in each occasion. Will then be to me another step to the state of pure formless awareness and eternal peace. So every situation, let's change that to situation, but each situation, rather than occasion, each situation will then be another step for me, step to me, another step to the state of pure formless awareness and eternal peace for me. It's a very simple message, really, isn't it? It's very simple, it's very clear. But to listen to this voice and let go of the voice of the ego that is denying this voice and always trying to sabotage is the work. If we didn't have an ego, there would be no difficulty. What you just, yeah, well, of course, I'm going to listen to my own true voice. The one voice is there. It's simple. But because we've got these two, now we get confused. Well, which is which? Which voice is true? Which is not? Which one should I believe? Which one should I listen to? And this mind training course is designed to help you sort it out and discern which one is which and make the correct choice consistently. And if you do that, you can't fail to awaken. You will eventually wake up to the state of pure formless awareness. You will live in more and more peace and love and joy while you're here. And eventually, when you lay the body aside, that's it. Game over. No more need for a world, no more need for a body and a life in this illusory world, because you've let it all go. Okay, happy with number 3?
Yeah.
All right, so number 4.
Are you not weary of imprisonment? Am I not weary of imprisonment? God did not choose this sorry path for you. Pure formless awareness of perfect love did not choose this sorry path for me. What you have chosen still can be undone, for prayer is merciful and God is just. What I have chosen can still be undone, for prayer is merciful and pure formless awareness of perfect love is just. His is a justice he can understand, but you cannot as yet. Its justice is justice it can understand, but I cannot as yet. Still, will he give the means to you to learn of him and know at least that condemnation is not real and makes illusions in its evil name? Still, will it give the means to me to learn of it and know at last that condemnation is not real and makes illusion illusions in its evil name. And yet it matters not the form that dreams may seem to take. And yet it does not matter, not the form of what the dreams may seem to take. Illusions
Does not
are
matter what the forms.
right, form that the dreams may still take. Illusions are untrue. Illusions are untrue. God's will is truth, and you are one with him in will and purpose. Pure formless awareness of perfect love's will is truth, and I am one with it and will and purpose. Here all dreams are done. Here all dreams are done.
Okay, and from the top, the alternative.
Yeah. I am not weary of imprisonment. Pure formless.
Am I not weary?
Sorry,
Okay,
am I not weary of imprisonment? Pure formless awareness of perfect love did not choose this path for me. What I have chosen can...
Skipped a word there. Sorry path for me.
Oh, so yeah, this sorry path for me. Yeah. What I have chosen can still be undone, for prayer is unconditionally loving, and pure formless awareness of perfect love is just. Its justice is a justice it can understand, but I cannot as yet. Still will it give the means to me to learn of it, and know at last that condemnation is not real, and makes illusions in its evil name. And yet it does not matter what the form that dreams may seem to take. Illusions are untrue. Perfect love's will is truth, and I am one with its awareness and purpose. Here are all the dreams done. The dreams done. So it's saying we're not weary of imprisonment. The perfect love did not choose this sorry path for us. We have chosen it, but it can still be undone. Yeah. Prayer is the unconditional loving of pure formless awareness. I mean, its justice is justice, but we cannot understand it yet. So all this condemnation and suffering is not real and makes illusions in its evil name. It doesn't matter what the form of dreams may seem to take. Illusions are just not true. Perfect love's will is the truth.
The one truth we can rely on. It's not true. None of it's true. So whatever the form of the situation you're experiencing, whatever the drama is, the trauma, the pain, the suffering, the sickness, the death, it goes on in this world, doesn't it? Whatever it is, the one thing that you can say that is always true is that none of this is true. Not one thing in this world is true. That's the only way out. You make some of it true and some of it real. How do you determine the difference? Well, I want that to be true, so I'll believe in that. No, that I don't like, so I'll let that go. But I'm picking and choosing, and that's all very arbitrary. And in truth, if I make one part of the illusion real, then I won't be able to let go of other parts because I've made one part of it real. So by making one part of it real, I'm making all of it real. Do you see the dilemma?
Yeah.
So if I've got one special attachment in this world, it makes the world real. It makes the whole thought system real of the ego, which is why he's saying, look, this is an all or nothing deal. You've got to let it all go. Otherwise, you're still attached. And that one special attachment will cause you to believe in the ego, the world of form, and it will cause you to come back, because that special attachment requires a special self. A special self must come into a body and live another life to play out that special attachment and have this dream of separation. It's quite simple, isn't it, really? I mean, this isn't rocket science. It's not a great mystery. A lot of teachers and teachings, oh, it's a great mystery. We can never really know the truth. I've even heard Eckhart Tolle say, never really know the truth. That's not true. Of course you can know the truth. That's the whole point. We must know the truth. That's what enlightenment is. You come to know the truth. Other enlightened beings have come to know the truth, so we can as well. There's no mystery in the truth. Everything becomes very simple and clear and plain. The mystery is only in the ego. The ego, shrouds its illusions in a cloak of mystery. It says, well, it's all a mystery and you can never know. And there's some things you can just, you can't know. So, well, who knows? God, for whatever reason, God's done this. He's put us here, but I can't know this. No, that's never going to wake you up from the dream. It's a very simple truth. God had nothing to do with it at all. It's all your own nightmare. You're in a nightmare of your own miscreation, and you can wake up from it if you choose to. God had nothing to do with it. God hasn't condemned you to the suffering and misery and death in this world. That's your own choice that did that. Which is why we're free. There's no condemnation from any external source except our own minds. The moment we change our minds and we say, well, I'm free and there is no sin and guilt and I am pure formless awareness of perfect love's extension, then I am free, because that's what I now believe. In my own mind, I've restored my mind to its natural state of freedom. It's so simple, really, isn't it? You think like, why did we all get it just like that? So simple.
Yeah.
You just created your own hell. You keep recreating it, and the only way out of it is to let go of it. You can't expect to hold on to it and then be free of it. You've got to let it go. So the great masters of this world, like Yeshua and Buddha, they just had the insight to penetrate through all of the illusions of the ego and see the simple truth so clearly, and then they were able to live it and teach it. And then whoa, you're a great master. But actually they just come to their senses. They've just woken up to sanity. They're the sane ones in the insane asylum. This is completely nuts. This whole thought system and how everyone lives is crazy. Actually, it's very, very simple. Here's the simple truth. And then, because they know it experientially, they can expound it. They teach it in their words and their actions very clearly. And then we call them masters, but actually they're just the sane ones. They've just woken up to sanity. They're not confused anymore about who they are and what reality is. And fortunately, we can all do that. We can all get into that state. It's not reserved for some special beings like them who are masters, and we can never attain that state. They were people, they had egos just like we do, and through discipline, systematic spiritual practice, they overcame them, and they attained these very high states of awareness. And they're saying, they as teachers, they're saying, well, you can do the same. I'm nothing special. I know what I had to go through. Do the same as me. Follow the ways that I teach you, and you can become like me. As Yeshua said, you shall do these things. He said to his followers, you shall do these things that I have done, and even greater things. I'm nothing special. Of course, they didn't believe him because they doubted themselves. But the same awareness, the same potential that was in him is in everyone. That divine spark is in everyone. So it's our job to just listen to that, to honor that in this world, no matter what. And recognize that all dreams are over. It's very comforting. You go, whatever the drama is, whatever your personal drama, whatever situation's going on, none of it's true. It's such a relief, isn't it? Oh, thank goodness. I don't have to try and work this out and figure it out. And it's like, because just none of it's true. If I can see that, and immediately there's a relief. Okay, the situation continues in the dream. but I'm in relative peace with it. I'm not fighting it, resisting it. Just let it go. In the knowledge that it's not true, I can let it go. So yeah, that's the practice. Whatever the difficulty, whatever the drama is, you can let it go and be okay. Because actually, in truth, I'm always okay. I'm I've been okay eternally. I've just had this dream that I'm not okay. So which is true, the dream or the reality that I'm okay? Always. All right. Happy with that one, Elaine? Number 4. Let's move on to number 5 then.
Yeah. Move on to 5, yeah. 2 seconds. Getting a tissue there. Okay. What should I do for him, your holy son? What should I do for him, your innocent extension? Should be the only thing. Is that another? Oh, yeah, I'm getting that mixed up. Yeah, sorry. Why should I do for him? So what should I do for him, your holy son? Should be the only thing you ever ask when help is needed and forgiveness sought. And what should I do for your innocent extension? Should be the only thing I ever ask when help is needed and letting go sought. The form the seeking takes, you need not judge. The form the seeking takes, I need not judge. And let it not be who sets the form in which forgiveness comes to save God's Son. And let it not be who sets the form in which letting go comes to save pure formless awareness of perfect love's extension. The light of Christ is in him, is his release. And it is this that answers to this call, to his call. The pure formless awareness of my true self in him is his release. And it is this that answers to his call. And forgive him as the Christ decides you should, and be his eyes through which you look on him and speak for him as well. I will let go of him as my true self decides I should, and be its eyes through which I look on him and speak for it as well.
So just translate that. Instead of I forgive him, I will let go of my illusions about my companions, is a good translation. And that's what forgiveness really means. I forgive him. I let go of my illusions about that person, what I'm saying. So I will let go of my illusions about my companions as my true self decides I should, be as its eyes through which I look on him. Be its eyes through which I look on him and speak for it as well. Through which I just perceive my companions through maybe from its perspective. See my companions from its. Okay, so its perspective is perfect oneness. There's only one self. Perceive my companions from its perspective and speak for it as well. All right, number 6.
He knows the need, the question, and the answer. It knows the need, the question, and the answer. He will say exactly what to do in words that you can understand and you can also use. It will say exactly what to do. It's in words that I can understand and I can also use. Do not confuse his function with your own. Do not confuse its function with my own. He is the answer. It is the answer. You, the one who hears. I, the one who hears.
And I am the one who hears. Okay, from the top in the alternative.
What should I do? Your innocent extension should be the only thing I ever ask when help is needed and letting go sought. I need not judge the form the seeking takes, and let it not be me who sets the form in which letting go comes to free, perfect love's extension. The pure formless awareness of my true self, in it is its release. And it is this that answers to its call. I will let go of my illusions about my companions, as my true self decides I should and receive my companions from its perspective and speak for it as well. It knows the need, the question, and the answer. It will tell me exactly what to do in words that I can understand and I can also use. I will not confuse its function with my own. It is the answer. I am the one who hears.
Well, so what does he mean by that?
Well, it's asking us what we should do for the innocent extension. This is the only thing we can ask for if it's to sort letting go. We don't judge. But it's not me who sets the form in which letting goes. It's the perfect love of my true self that does the release. And this is the place where the answer to our calls. So once we've let go of our illusions about our companions, then our true self decides.
And it will instruct me. This true self is always true. It's always there. It's always available, there to help us, to guide us in this otherwise very confusing dream. Okay. Yeah. Let's just see. My battery's about to expire, so I might just need to go and sort this out. I can plug it in. I've got a plug that's plugged into the inverter. I was hoping the power would come back. It normally comes back around now, but it hasn't yet. So let me just be safe. Probably got a couple of minutes of battery life left. So let me just go sort that out. Take a quick break.
Yep.
And then we'll continue.
Resume. Yeah.
Resume in 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay. See you now. Okay. All right, Elaine, I'm back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just had to get an extension cord.
Yeah.
Okay, so happy with number 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're softly on to number 6. And what is it he speaks to you about?
Yeah. And what is it he speaks to you about? And what is it he speaks to me about? About
It
salvation?
speaks. Yeah,
Yeah.
just try and yeah, often you get the words wrong. Just read it carefully. What is it it speaks to me about?
Okay. And what is it it speaks to me about? About salvation and the gift of peace. About awakening and the gift of peace. About the end of sin and guilt and death. About the end of sin and guilt and death. About the role forgiveness has in him. About the role letting go has in it. Do you but listen? Do I but listen?
Okay, will I, maybe? Will I but listen? Will I just? Will I only listen? Question mark. Or will I just listen? Will I just listen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For he will be heard by anyone who calls upon his name and places his forgiveness in his hands. For its voice will be heard by anyone who calls upon its name and places their letting go in its hands. Forgiveness has been given him to teach, to save it from destruction, and to make the means for separation, sin and death become again the holy gift of God. Where am I? There we go. Letting go has been given it to teach, to free it from destruction, and to make the means for belief in separation. Sin and death become again the innocent gift of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Prayer,
Yeah, number
yeah,
8.
yeah. Prayer is his own right hand, made free to save, as true forgiveness is allowed to come from his eternal vigilance and love. Prayer is its own right hand, made free to save, as true letting go is allowed to come from its eternal vigilance and love. Listen and learn and do not judge. Listen and learn and do not judge. It is to God you turn to hear what you should do. It is to pure, formless awareness of perfect love I turn to hear what I should do. Ooh, excuse me. His answer will be clear as morning, nor is his forgiveness what you think it is. Its answer will be clear as morning, nor is its letting go what I think it is. From the top. And what does it speak to me about? About awakening and the gift of peace, about the end of sin, guilt, and death, about the role letting go has in it. Will I just listen, for its voice will be heard by anyone who calls upon its name and places their letting go in its hands. Letting go has been given it to teach, to free it from destruction, and to make the means for belief and separation. Sin and death become again the innocent gift of perfect love. Prayer is its own right hand, made free to awaken as true letting go is allowed to come from its eternal vigilance and love. I will listen, learn, and not judge. It is to pure formless awareness, perfect love, I turn to hear what I should do. Its answer will be clear as morning, nor is it letting go what I think it is. So it's talking about what is it going to talk about with us. And it's saying it's about the awakening and the gift of peace and the end of sin and guilt and death. And the role of letting go as its plan. So we have to think, are we going to listen? Because its voice is there for everyone. But if we will be heard by anyone, it calls for us to let go and put everything in its hands. So it's letting go in his hands, it's freeing us from destruction in the belief in separation, sin and death. And the prayer is its own right hand, made free to awaken as true letting go is allowed to come from eternal vigilance and love. So it's asking us to listen, learn, and not judge. And we turn to this pure formless awareness for guidance about what we should do. And the answer will be very clear. But not the letting go that we think it's going to be.
Yeah, so it's not forgiveness to destroy. It's a radical, complete letting go of all of it, of the reality of any of that. That's the only way to do this. It's to deny the reality of any of it. That's radical letting go, radical forgiveness. And nothing else will work. If you make some aspects of reality real and you say, well, that's real, and then your thoughts and emotions dwell on it, you're making it real. Only a complete, okay, none of it's true. Not one thought, not one part of the illusion. Nothing that's ever happened in this world is true. It's just a dream. Only in that awareness can we be truly free. Because then nothing matters. You're totally free because nothing here matters at all. The ego gets terrified of that. You can't do that. That's irresponsible or whatever. You need to be somewhat responsible. Kind of hedges your bets. You can have some spirituality, value that, but make sure you don't forget this world in the process. But the whole point of spirituality is that you should forget this world. That's the end goal of any authentic spiritual teaching. Forget this world entirely and return your mind to pure formless awareness of perfect love that is beyond this world. Listen, learn, and not judge. So really suspend our own judgment and just be willing. A good student of this course is someone who's willing to suspend all their own ideas and own beliefs and say, okay, I'm willing to put all those on hold and question all of them and listen to what is being said here and really listen and pay attention. He's teaching us very explicitly. So not fudge it and go, well, yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of got this. All right, now I don't need to practice anymore. Right, you really got it. Are you sure? Yeah. Well, unless you're at Yeshua's level, they're not very, very few. You haven't really got it. So keep practicing, keep learning. And even if you are at an advanced level, keep practicing and learn, because there's probably going to be more stuff you've got to undo. Inevitably, as challenges come up. That's to be expected in the dream. So the correct attitude is, yes, I know I'm ultimately going to free myself, but I'm patient, I'm persistent, I'm disciplined, I'm systematic in what I do, which is letting go. And that's the way out of the dream. And I will keep doing that patiently, systematically, in a disciplined way without making exceptions, no matter what. And I'll do that every day for the rest of my life. Because what else can I do? There isn't really any other sane way to live. And I'll keep listening to this guidance to help me to do it. Fortunately, we're not alone in this. There is a voice in us that is the memory. We call it the remembrance of perfect love. It's the remembrance of that perfect state before time began, before the idea of separation entered our minds. And that memory is what will guide us back to that perfect state. It's completely logical, isn't it? Well, yes, only that memory will ultimately lead us back to an awareness of that whole complete state. So we must listen to that memory, which the moment the idea of separation came in, was born. That's why he says the Holy Spirit came into being with the separation. Because at the moment of that tiny mad idea of separation, and we then went down this mad path, we believed in the ego. At that moment, the memory of perfect oneness was born. You see, there was no need for a memory of it before, because we just simply had that awareness. But now that you've denied it, in that moment of denial, the memory arises, the remembrance of perfect love then, must be there in response to that forgetting. So it wasn't like God brought it into being. It's just the memory of that which has always been, but which was denied and covered over. So the memory came into existence, apparent, existence or usefulness, shall we say, with the separation. That's the Holy Spirit, which was then the counter to the ego's dream of separation. And it's that memory of perfect oneness that will lead you out of the dream, because that memory will take you back to the original state that it remembers, which is pure formless awareness of perfect love. And then the dream will be over. The memory once the memory has fulfilled its true purpose, the memory is no longer necessary. So the Holy Spirit no longer has a function in Course language, because you're just in pure formless awareness of perfect love. Your awareness and this pure formless awareness of perfect love are one and the same awareness. There's nothing else going on, no other awareness. Very simple. It's very simple, isn't it? It's extremely simple. But to maintain that clarity of vision, simplicity in the dream world, it gets very confusing. The more you go down the ladder, it gets very confusing, very murky world of feeling unfairly treated, and accusation, blame, attack, defense, attack, counterattack, concept of a fearful, wrathful God, all these people wandering around in your dream, tempting you to special relationships, special love relationships, special hate relationships. In all of that madness, to have the clarity of vision, to understand this and apply it, that's what the mind training is here to do. Okay, any other thoughts on number 6? Yeah, are you still there?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking. I didn't realize I was muted. Yes. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Okay,
good.
number 7.
Yeah. Still does he know? That should be enough. Still does it know, and that should be enough. Forgiveness as a teacher who will fail in nothing. Letting go as a teacher who will fail in nothing. Rest a while in this. Do not attempt to judge forgiveness, nor to set it in an earthly frame. Rest a while in this. Do not attempt to judge letting go, nor to set it in an earthly frame. Let it arise to Christ, who welcomes it as a gift to him. Let it arise to my true self, who welcomes it as a gift to it. He will not leave you comfortless, nor fail to send his angels down to answer you in his own name. I will let it arise to my true self, who welcomes it as a gift to it. It will not leave me. Oh, where am I? Yeah, sorry. Repeating myself. It will not leave me comfortless, nor fail to send its angels down to answer me in its own name.
Oh, here's a question. Angels, how do we translate that?
Yeah.
Remember what the translation for angels is?
No, can't remember.
It's a thought.
Oh.
I'll fail to send it. So the angel is the thought. The angel of courage would be a thought of courage. Okay, keep going, persist, and let the fear get through. So what we've done as angels, we personify them. So, okay, well, that's, Archangel Michael. He's about strength and courage. And that's Raphael, who's healing, I think. And that's another one. And we personify it. We give it some kind of personal identity. When in fact, it's just a thought that stems from pure formless awareness of perfect love. The thoughts of healing, of strength, of courage, anything good, positive, comes from that fundamental awareness we call God. So it's really just a thought, and an energy. The thought becomes an energy and emotion. Thought emotion sends its thoughts down to answer me in its own name. Now that makes it a whole lot more practical than angels. Because if you read angels, people might go, "Well, I don't see any angels."
No.
Been in the course for 20 years, I've never seen an angel. So what does that mean? I'm not getting the course? No, it just means you haven't interpreted it correctly.
Right.
If you see visions of angels and stuff, it probably means that your mind is very visual. So you work in a visual way, and so maybe that's how your mind interprets it, and then it creates some kind of image of the thought, and you perceive it as an image. You go, oh, I saw an angel. It's just how your mind interprets that energy. Other people don't. I'm not particularly visual, so I don't really get visions occasionally, but not like some people seem to be very visual, and they see these visions, but actually they're no more enlightened than anyone else. It's just that the way their mind interprets their energies, thoughts, and then they perceive it as, oh, I saw this angel of light, or something. I've had a few of them, but as he says, visions are perceptual. Visions involve form. They're not as profound as a revelatory experience that is beyond form. So I've had a vision of Yeshua. I saw him very clearly just for a few seconds. I've had a vision of an orb of light, like this hand coming out of nowhere, sticking a great kind of orb of light in my heart chakra, and a couple of others. Vision sometimes of just a light, just a yellow kind of light, just formless sometimes. But those those are just symptomatic of an awakening. I think the most profound experiences I've had have been going into pure formless awareness. There's no vision. There's no visual image to it, because by definition, it's formless. You go into that formless awareness, and you just are in that awareness. You experience that awareness as yourself for that brief time. That's revelation. That's beyond images and forms and angels and anything. What he's talking about here is you're still in the domain of perception, trying to handle the illusion, and it's very helpful to ask for guidance from your true self. Then Christ sends it, in Course terms, Christ sends his angels. And we translate that as your true self sends its thoughts. Or fail to give me. It's not really send. Fail to give me its thoughts. It's already there. It's your own true awareness. It's now in charge by your own request, and it's going to give you thoughts that are helpful in any situation. To answer me in its own identity, its own name is its own identity. So we in other words, we listen to guidance. This is what it's saying. We can listen to the guidance of our true self, which we would call the Holy Spirit's voice, that can show us what to do, where to go, what to say. That shortcuts our process, that can save us a lot of pain and suffering, that takes us as fast as possible back to the state of pure formless awareness. That's what it's designed to do. So it's the fast track. To go fast, go slowly. Why? Because you have to slow down to listen to that voice. If your mind is really busy with your own thoughts, you can't hear that voice. Well, that's very inefficient because you get caught up in the ego, like on a hamster wheel, just going round and around, actually going nowhere, going fast nowhere. That's the ego's equation. Wearing yourself out, and then you're like, well, where did I actually get? I might have spent my entire life doing this. Where did I actually get? Spiritually, nowhere. Because I didn't have the courage just to step off the wheel, go, okay, I'm just going to pause and be quiet and still and stop the senseless activity and wait and ask for guidance. So whenever we meditate, we do a breath break, we do any kind of spiritual practice to quieten the mind. That's what you're doing. You're stepping off the hamster wheel. So, okay, I'm stepping away from this for a moment, even if it's just for a few minutes, maybe it's for a longer period, like half an hour, but I'm giving myself a break, stepping off the hamster wheel and allowing guidance to come in from my true self in that time that I'm allocating to it. And that can actually save you a huge amount of time, because one bit of guidance can save you enormous time, energy, wasted effort. I gave that example of that money with the lawyer a couple of years ago. If I hadn't listened to the guidance, it would have caused me immense problems, huge problems. I may not be doing what I'm doing today. It would have been a very difficult situation to find my way out of. Somehow I probably would have managed, but I might have had to quit the course. I might have had to stop running this. I might have had to get a job, whatever. I would have found a way, but it would have been way more difficult than it was. As it was, because I listened to that one instant of guidance. I was quiet. I stilled my mind. I asked for guidance very specifically, and it came, and I listened. That saved me huge amounts of time. So when people say, "Oh, I don't have time for spiritual practice," it's a waste of time. Like, yeah, okay. Well, try doing life without it and see how much time you waste then.
Yeah.
Because if you go down the wrong way, again, looking at the idea of the two guides. If you follow the wrong guide, you're going the opposite direction to what you should be going. It's a complete waste of time. You're going the opposite direction. You're going to have to turn around, retrace your steps, and just spend a whole lot of time getting back to where you were. Well, that's a complete waste of time. If you wanted to go in the other direction, going in the wrong direction, complete waste. And so that's just, save you huge amounts of time if you listen to the guidance, and you do that regularly. It's not a one-time, I listened to guidance then, and then I'm sorted for the rest of my life. So no, I listen to guidance ongoing, continuously, and I practice. Spiritual practices are the practice of opening yourself to the guidance. So I meditate every day. I do my breath breaks. I do discussion sessions. I do reading, whatever, because that opens me to the guidance continuously, because I'm going to need the guidance continuously. The journey continues. Every day you're going to need guidance. What am I doing now? Am I going left? Am I going right? Am I taking that option? Or am I taking this option? As long as you're in time and space, you're going to need that guidance. It's like getting halfway to your destination. Well, I kind of got this, so I'll just I'll just put off the sat nav because I kind of got this. I kind of know that, yeah. But you don't. You don't actually know the way.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be lost. Oh, no, I shouldn't have stopped the guidance because I don't have a guidance system. And now I'm lost. I don't know whether to turn left or right, where I'm going. I've no clue. So I run around. That wastes time. I thought I would save time by shutting the sat nav and not listening to it. But actually, I've just wasted a whole load of time.
So a bit like my friend Linda, she's been on the journey for many years, and then all of a sudden she switched and on the plant-based journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So,
in the end, she'll probably come back, but maybe not in this life. She'll probably, in the end, all illusions will reveal themselves as that. No illusion can satisfy you forever. But we can go down these blind alleys for a long time. Some people can spend years, decades trying to find the answer there, and they won't. And eventually they'll be disillusioned, and then they'll come back, and she returned to the course. She probably will at some point. Watch. She'll go, yeah, I kind of lost my way there. I can see the ego got involved. It tried to, it's going to try anything. Remember, it doesn't want you to awaken. So whatever strategy it can use to get you back into its thought system, it's going to do that. Okay, so for her, plant-based foods. Okay, that'll do. All right, that's a magic solution. It gives reality to the body and to form. So okay, that'll do. And it's apparently a good one because it's plant-based, so it must be better than meat-based. And animal-based because it's plant-based. So then it makes these artificial distinctions and says, well, okay, then it's okay. Well, actually, it's not because it's still illusion. Food is illusion.
Yeah, because
all form is illusion.
She sent a video of all these cows and obviously the cruelty. And I thought, well, that's one thing I don't need to see. So that I thought, that's a bit strange what you're sending that to me for. I was quite shocked, actually. This was just before I started doing this. But I just thought, what relevance
well,
is
again,
that?
then you have, it becomes about the level of form. Okay, so now we're focusing on animals as the big issue and cruelty to animals. And it makes it real. The problem is it makes that all real.
Well,
so now your focus is not on pure formless awareness. Your focus is on the terrible suffering, cruelty to animals, and then how guilty are you as a meat eater to be inflicting this? And then we have a separation between now I'm vegetarian or vegan and you're a meat eater, and now we have an us and them situation. You separate from me because you're eating something different. It's all just ego drama.
Obviously,
separate.
Promoting a plant-based thing, I guess that's because I did find it a strange video.
Then that's the way you do it. You say, well, you look at all the cruelty, so come to me. But the problem is it's separative. It's based on an idea of separation, which is never going to bring you to the truth.
Yeah, because it just wasn't a normal stuff, and I just thought, just obviously switched paths.
So someone may well say, okay, I'm going to go plant-based because that's what feels right for me. But am I going to make that into the absolute truth? Am I going to, now crusade on that and say this is the way and the truth and this is what everyone needs to do? No, because it's not. That's not ultimate truth. That's just that's a secondary. Yeah, maybe you make a choice. Maybe you make a choice to eat vegetarian or vegan for health reasons or ethical reasons. Maybe you don't. Yeshua ate meat, so did the Buddha. They didn't. They just ate what was given to them. They were grateful for whatever was served to them. And I think they probably understood that it didn't really matter. It's illusion. What you're eating. Yeshua said, what you eat doesn't make you unclean. It's your thoughts that make you unclean. So let's just be clear on the truth. As soon as you give power to these things, you say, oh well, if I eat meat, then I'm dirty, and if I eat plants, then I'm clean. You're missing the point. There's many plant eaters, vegetarians, who eat absolute rubbish, and actually they're very unconscious. They're not. There's no true awareness there. So you can't say, just because you're vegetarian or vegan, you're suddenly enlightened. It's ridiculous. It's your thoughts. It's your thoughts and your emotions that need to be cleaned up. That's where the work really needs to be done. And if you then feel, okay, I'd like to go plant-based because it feels right, maybe health reasons, maybe ethical reasons, okay, that's an expression of it. But that's secondary. That's not the primary thing. Don't make that what it's all about, because it's not. That's just a byproduct. So like we all start on it. I started also on diet and health. But then you start realizing, but that's not really the answer. That's just a part. It's a part of the equation. If you eat rubbish and you feel bad because your blood sugar's all over the place and you're obese and, biochemically, it's not going to help you to be stable in your mood and, it's centered in pure formless awareness of perfect love. So, okay, put something in place where you're eating correctly so that, you're not sabotaging your spiritual understanding and growth with your food. That makes sense. But then, okay, I've got that in place now. It's sorted. It's handled. Let me focus on what's really important, which is letting go. I'll not put too much undue attention on food. So that's why in the course, our letting go course, it's a part of it. It's a fast and it's a spiritual practice to help you to let go. That's the whole point. To help you to let go of your attachment to food, which is a major attachment for many people. That's why we fast. And the health benefits and whatever else are secondary. It's primarily a practice in letting go.
Yeah.
So you see, then the filter becomes, okay, does this help me to let go or not? If it helps me to let go, then okay, this could be a useful practice. If it doesn't, and it actually helps me it gets me more attached into the dream world, then it's not helpful.
Yeah. Well, I did find it strange sending the video. That was when I thought, oh, and that's when I asked her, I said, oh, are you still practicing? And obviously she came back with, she said, oh, I don't need to, I'm living it.
Well, clearly you're not if you're sending videos like that.
Yeah, I was
obviously
quite
not.
taken back. Yeah,
because that's now a focus on form, on illusion. That's nothing to do with the absolute truth at all.
It's promoting the plant-based. That's basically what it was about. Yeah.
And there's a level of really, if you're honest about it, the marketing is based on guilt. Oh,
yes.
You're a meat eater, feel guilty because look at the terrible cruelty. So now come to me out of guilt because you want to allay your guilt somehow. Okay, well, I should look at plant-based foods. Well, any teaching that stimulates guilt in people isn't the truth, because there is no guilt, there is no sin, there is no guilt. That's the truth. Whatever, whether you eat meat or whether you eat plants, none of us are guilty. That's the whole point. We're all innocent. You've eaten, thousands of tons of meat in your life, and many animals have been slaughtered, or you've been, pure vegan all your life. It doesn't really matter because both of you are innocent. That's the teaching. What you do in this world doesn't really matter ultimately, because we're innocent by design, by in our original creation. That's the truth. And any teaching that denies that is actually a denial of truth, and then it's false. You're teaching the ego, which is false, and it's got many ways of doing it. That can seem to be good, or only like, oh, plant-based foods, that's got to be good. But then if you just like examine it like we're doing now, it's like, okay, but actually it's not really. It's actually just more of the illusion that distracts people from the truth of who they really are, really just accessing that truth and living through that. And then making choices from it. And then it's up to each person. Well, if you feel, I tried vegetarianism for a while, and then I was told by about 6 different people that inevitably they ended up in the same place. They ended up anemic, rather unhealthy, anemic, and they had to start eating meat again because they went to a doctor or dietitian and said, look, you're in some serious trouble here. You need to get more iron and protein and stuff in your diet. So you need to start eating meat at least 2-3 times a week again after 15 or 20 years. I'm like, okay, well, do I want to go down that track and end up where they end? Or will I just go, okay? And also what I found is it very exclusive. You say I'm vegetarian, then suddenly, like my mother now has to prepare a special meal for me because I'm vegetarian. So now I'm making myself special separating myself from everyone else and making someone else's life difficult and inconvenient because of my special needs. Or is that really love?
Yeah.
Or is it just specialness in disguise? So it's quite subtle. You really have to be quite vigilant
Yeah.
in the way that it plays out. And, the vegetarian will say, well, I'm more spiritual and enlightened because I'm vegetarian, but not necessarily. If their identity is very fixed on being a vegetarian or vegan, then no, you're just in another delusion of who you think you are. That's not true. And I've seen it. I stayed with a vegan lady, not very healthy, massively overweight, had some of her meals, didn't really think they were terribly healthy, even though they're vegan, because it was all a lot of processed, vegan stuff. But you could see the identification. It was like, identify with what I am. I'll go to a vegan conference. I'll buy, vegan chips. Well, hang on, chips are vegan anyway. The chip's always vegan, isn't it? Because it's a potato or it's a taco. It's a plant. Chips have never been anything other than vegan, unless they're putting like bacon things in there. But normally it's just a chip with some, salt and vinegar or some flavoring. So, but people will buy that just to identify with. Of course, marketers know that. So they're all vegan chip, because then someone who identifies as a vegan will buy that rather than something that's, equally good but doesn't have the vegan label. So it's that identification with the personal identity, the special self, that's the problem. And if you do that under the guise of veganism or vegetarianism or anything, then you're confused. Because actually, you're not that. You're just pure formless awareness of perfect love. You're the one self, the one true self you share with everyone. And there is no distinction. There's no different self. That's truly spiritual. Then you're on the right track. And everything else is secondary. And what you eat is secondary. It's like, well, does it really matter? No, it doesn't really matter. You're still your true self. You eat meat or you eat plant-based food, it's still the same. That self, which is formless and timeless, is not affected at all by what you eat. This is the teaching. Okay, where were we? Bit of a sidetrack, but an interesting one anyway. It's interesting to consider these special cases of the ego and how it manifests and so on. We're at number 5. It will not leave me comfortless. Nor fail to give me its thoughts, which are its angels. Give me its thoughts to answer them.
Okay. It stands beside the door, to which letting go is the only key. Give it to use instead of me, and I will see the door swing silently open upon the shining face of my true self. Behold my companion there beyond the door, the extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love, as it created him.
Behold my companion there beyond the door. The extension of perfect, pure formless awareness, perfect love, as it all my companions. So extends as it extends them. Okay, let's read that from the top. An alternative.
It still knows that it still knows, and that should be enough. Letting go has a teacher who will fail in nothing. I will rest a while in this and not attempt to judge letting go, nor to set it in an earthly frame. I will let it arise to my true self, who welcomes it as a gift to it. It will not leave me comfortless, nor fail to give me its thoughts, to answer me in its own identity. It stands beside the door to which letting go is the only key. I give it to use instead of me, and I will see the door swing silently open upon the shining identity of my true self. I behold my companions there beyond the door, the extensions of pure formless awareness of perfect love as it extends them.
Yeah, what's he saying there? Sorry.
Well, it's just saying our to give up our. Well, that's just saying that it's going to be in this true self and to trust in it. It's not going to leave us comfortless nor fearless, and it'll have thoughts or angels to answer our own identity. And it's standing by the door, waiting for us to let go. And this is the only key. I give it to use instead of me, the separate self. And once I've done that, the doors will just swing open silently and reveal our true self. It's all about letting go, isn't it? And knowing that that this is it, that's it, this is enough.
Yeah.
That's what's it saying about the earthly frame. I will rest a while in this and not attempt to judge letting go, nor to set it in an earthly frame.
Yeah, so all of those forms of letting go we discussed, forgiveness to destroy, last section. That's setting it in an earthly frame. So I'm going to try and somehow forgive, but within the earthly frame or the context of this world. So I'm not going to let go of the world. I'm going to try and make the world a somewhat better place, somewhat happier place for myself. That's essentially what forgiveness to destroy does. Tries to find some magic solution to the problem, when in fact the only solution is to leave the world behind, leave the earthly frame behind entirely. The frame is the problem. The frame is a block to the awareness of perfect love. The frame limits your infinite awareness down into an earthly frame in which time and space seem to be real, in which the problems of this world seem to be real, and in which you seem to be imprisoned.
So that's what it means by the earthly frame. So the frame is
the frame is the context. Well, the frame is time and space in the context of, okay, the world and everything that goes on in the world. The world is the place, the world is like the frame for life to happen. You know? Without an earthly frame, we couldn't have an experience here. Well, we wouldn't be walking anywhere. There wouldn't be gravity, other people. You know, but there's a whole framework, a matrix, if you like, that allows us to have this experience as seemingly separate individuals, you know, walking in bodies, interacting with other people. That's the frame. Now, most people don't even question the frame. They don't even know there is a frame. As Morpheus said, you know, the matrix is all around us, but you don't even know it. It's wherever you go. It's in the taxes you pay. It's in, you know, the church you go to. It's in the food you eat. It's in the air you breathe. It's everywhere. It's so entrenched in our perception as reality. We don't even know it's a construct, the construct of the mind. What he's saying is pull the plug on the construct. You know, you pull the plug on the matrix collapses. There's no more earthly frame. What's left is pure formless awareness of perfect love. That's beyond all frame. There are no limits to it. It's perfect. It's whole. It's innocent. It's infinite, and it's eternal. And he's saying, open the door to that. You know, in your perception, be willing to let go of all of your own ideas of how the earthly frame should work and how things should work here and how you should operate in it. Let go of all of that because you don't have a clue, because your whole frame, your context is wrong. The whole frame is wrong. The idea that there really is a world, that there's time and space, that you're a body, that there's other bodies, that, you know, you have these needs in the body, all of that's wrong. It's not true. So really, you don't understand anything. Within that framework, you're confused and deluded. You don't know anything. Hence, lesson number 3, I do not understand anything. Requires a lot of humility in this course, because that's okay. I'm actually clueless. I don't know. All my life experience has taught me is to get more enslaved into the earthly frame and try and make that work. And yet, what, 50, I'm 50, turning 51 tomorrow, you're 60 odd. It hasn't worked, has it? If
No,
you're honest, it hasn't worked. So
not for want
is
of
it likely
trying,
to
though.
work? Yeah,
Not for
well,
want.
so we try, and yet it still hasn't worked. So what does that tell us?
Yeah, that
It
it's
doesn't
not
work.
worth. Yeah.
It doesn't work. Not just that we failed. It doesn't work for anyone. That's the lesson. It doesn't really work for anyone. Let's just be honest about it. Because that's your awakening. Okay, it doesn't work for me, but fortunately, I'm not alone in that. It doesn't work for anyone.
No.
Oh. Thanks, man. All right. So let's do the summary quickly.
Mhm. In my journey of awakening through letting go, I recognize it is a unique process that doesn't demand proof of my innocence or any compensation. It is free from arguments and doesn't focus on errors. Trusting in the pure formless awareness of perfect love, I am open to learning how to be free. This path is illuminated by the remembrance of perfect love, guiding me accordingly to the will of the pure formless awareness of perfect love, a will beyond my comprehension.
And awareness. We translate will as awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what's he saying there?
Well, it's about our awakening journey and through the letting go to recognize that it doesn't demand proof of innocence or compensation from anything or anybody. It's free from any arguments or any focus on errors. It's purely trusting in this pure formless awareness. So if we're open to learning how to be free, then this path is illuminated by the perfect love guiding us. And it's all beyond our comprehension as the separate self.
Guides me according to pure formless. According to the will of perfect love and awareness. It's currently beyond my full comprehension. And the will awareness. Okay. Good. Number 2.
Yeah. As an extension of this pure awareness, I understand that its gifts, including the understanding of letting go, come to me not by my design, but through its innocent will, in situations requiring help. I recognize it's not me, but the remembrance of perfect love that responds. My role is to refrain from interference, allowing this divine process to unfold. So us as an extension of pure formless awareness, of understanding the letting go, it comes to us through our innocent awareness when situations with situations that require help. And we realize it's not us that is doing it, it's the remembrance of perfect love that responds. So our role is to not interfere and allow the process to unfold.
Yeah, just get out the way. Stop interfering and trying to manage the process of your own enlightenment, because you can't. You just got to get out the way and listen. Not interfere. And allow this divine process of awakening to unfold for me. It's so simple. It's too simple. Our egos don't want to know this is simple. Just let go, and there is this intelligence within you that's going to guide you, and you just have to listen. Just follow the guidance. It's simple. Just do what you're told. What could be simpler?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
okay, Forrest Gump. He's a brilliant soldier. Remember, did you watch it? He goes into the
I
army,
did see it, yes, yeah.
and the sergeant major says, "What is your only purpose in this army? To do whatever you tell me to do." He says, "Jay, you're a genius, Gump."
Oh, yes.
But really, that's symptomatic of, okay, you're going to do not what the sergeant major, but you're going to do what the spirit guides you to do.
Mm.
And that's what he did throughout that whole, he just listened. Okay, well, this is what I feel guided to do, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it 100%. I'm seizing the day. I'm in the moment, and therefore I do it fully, completely. There's no full focus and attention on that activity. And then, of course, he does it very well. And then when time comes to move, he just moves on. Okay, well, that's it. I've done that now. Move on. No, no looking back. Remember when he's running?
Mm.
Remember that part
But
when
yeah.
he's running? He goes running for 3 years and he's got all the followers. And then suddenly he goes, "No, I've had enough.
They would think he was going to
I
have
think I'm
words of
just going to
wisdom.
stop and go home." Yeah. And he turns around and everyone's like, "No, you can't do that," because he's not attached to identity. That's the whole message.
Mm.
He doesn't define himself as a runner. He just runs because he felt the need to run. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm going to stop now because I've had enough. And then he just drops it. That's end of. Whereas the ego would go, "Oh, no, no, but now, you're this great runner." And everyone's like, you're this long distance runner who's running coast to coast and you've got a following and you need to carry that on. It's like, no, I'm tired now. Stopped. No, I think I'm going home.
Mm.
It's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
brilliant
referring.
demonstration of exactly listening to guidance. Okay, without any attachment to ego, form, just like, and then he just moves on to the next stage and the next stage. It's like whatever, with no attachment to the past. Okay, so next one, I do not dictate the form of letting go.
I do not dictate the form of letting go as guided by my true self. Instead, I allow it to transform each situation into a stepping stone towards my source. My actions and words are infused with sincerity derived from the higher guidance. Each act of letting go becomes a step closer to the state of pure formless awareness and peace. So again, it's just repeating the fact that we don't interfere, we don't dictate the form of letting go. Allow the true self to transform the situation, and it will be a stepping stone towards our source. And it's our actions and words are full of sincerity, coming from our higher guidance. So each act of letting go becomes a step closer to experiencing a state of pure formless awareness and peace.
Yeah, very simple. This is not a complicated course, is it? You're saying
No.
isn't complicated. It's just difficult because it's so radical. You've got to just let go of everything else. And, you can't hold on to any of your previous beliefs. But did you really expect any of that would work? Oh, I can hang on to my limiting beliefs and find infinite freedom. Of course you can't. It's a ridiculous notion. You've got to drop all of that and question it. As he says, I question my path of self-imposed imprisonment. Want to read that?
Yeah. I question my path of self-imposed imprisonment, acknowledging that it is not a path chosen by pure formless awareness of perfect love. Through prayer and mercy, I understand that my choices can be undone and illusions of condemnation can be dissolved. I align with the truth and will of pure formless awareness, moving beyond all illusions. So it's saying that we question our imprisonment and to actually acknowledge that it's not a path chosen by this pure formless awareness, but through prayer and unconditional love, we can make different choices. And the illusions of condemnation can be dissolved. So we align with the truth and of pure formless awareness, moving us beyond the illusions.
You're saying to transcend all illusions. Okay.
Assisting others, I seek guidance on how to serve as an innocent extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love. I understand that my role is not to judge, but to act as a conduit for my true self, offering release and responding to calls for help. This process involves listening to the teachings about awakening and peace, comprehending the end of sin, guilt, and death, and embracing the role of letting go. This wisdom, imparted by the remembrance of perfect love, transforms the destructive elements of belief in separation, sin, and death into innocent gifts of pure formless awareness. Prayer and true letting go under the guidance of pure formless awareness become my means of salvation or awakening.
Yeah, what's he saying in there?
So we need, in our assisting others, we can seek guidance on how to serve as an innocent extension of perfect love. So that my role is not to judge, but as a conduit for my true self, and offering release and responding to calls for help. So this process involves listening to the teachings about awakening and peace, and comprehending the end of sin, guilt, and death, and just embracing the role of letting go. Yeah, that's it.
Look at Yeshua. Good example. He was a conduit for this true self. He surrendered to his true self, and he offered release to others, and he responded to calls for help. Always said, "You're free. There's no sin. Sins are forgiven." And then he called to call for help. If someone wanted healing, he would inevitably help, because he comprehended the end of sin, guilt, and death. He knew that they weren't real. Understanding they mean the end of sin, guilt, and death. Accepting the role of letting go. This process. of listening to as they following these teachings about awakening peace, understanding, I mean, end of sin, guilt, and death, and accepting the world, letting go in this process. Yeah. Okay. This wisdom imparted by the realms of love transcends destructive elements of guilt, sin, and death. Interesting. It translates guilt into the belief in separation. I didn't tell it to do that. And so it's figured out that the belief in separation is synonymous with guilt, which is true, even though it's further down the ladder. So that's why we use it. Innocent gifts of perfect love, prayer and true letting go, under the guidance of perfect love, become my means of awakening. So I think this Song of Prayer is a really nice supplement because he's kind of bringing in prayer in a much bigger way than in the Course, isn't he? He's clarifying and saying prayer, he mentions briefly, it's covered in one of the sections. He says the only prayer is for forgiveness. But really, prayer is the intention to let go. And letting go is the actual letting go, when you actually release that thought and that emotion, that energy. So they work hand in hand. You can't let go unless you have the intention to let go, can you? Prayer is the intention. True letting go is the actualization of that intention, which makes the prayer effective, which makes the prayer come into a miraculous manifestation. Because when you let go, you change the quantum field, and often miracles then follow. But there's nothing mystical about it. It's not like not understandable, like, well, the mystery of prayer, people talk. No, it's simply an intention. My only intention is to truly let go of any blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That's my prayer. Not for any specific outcomes, just help me, Spirit, to let go of these blocks as they arise, to be aware of them, be aware enough that I can see them, and then to be able to choose to let them go. That's the only true prayer, not my will, but thy will be done. And then with that prayer comes the, okay, well, if I have that intention, truly I must act on it. So I must actually let go when situations arise and I'm feeling those negative thoughts and emotions. And I must actually, to be authentic to my prayer, I must act on my intention. I must do it. And without the prayer, then you won't truly let go because there's no intention to let go. If it's just the prayer and you don't actually act on it, then it's nice, it's good intentions, but you haven't actually done it. So you need both. So the two together work hand in glove as the means of my awakening. All right, last paragraph.
I trust in the infallible teacher of letting go, remembrance of perfect love, avoiding attempts to confine this divine process within earthly limitations, comforted by its presence and guided by its wisdom. I witness doors opening to reveal my true self and see the extensions of perfect love in their true form. So we trust in this infallible teacher of letting go and avoiding attempts to limit the divine process within this frame. So we can be comforted by this presence and guided by its wisdom. So just allow the doors to open and it will reveal our true self. And it will then perceive the extensions of love truly. As we really are. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to overlook the form, the personal identities, and really connect with your own true self, your own true awareness. And then that reveals, yes, if you're in that awareness, then you can perceive that awareness is also theirs, even if they don't know it. It's the only way you can do it. If you focus too much on the form and on their behavior and what they've done, you'll never find it because most people have no clue who they are. So they don't know. So the way they behave is actually out of alignment with their true self. So it takes a lot of mind training to go, okay, but actually, whatever they're showing me is false. The truth is within me. It's this true self. I can feel it, experience it. It's lovely, it's peaceful, it's happy, it's beautiful. Well, that's them as well. They're there as well. So they're not outside of me. They exist in truth in my heart, in that sacred place within me. It's again a simple idea, but to actually do it in practice and not focus on the behavior of other people is the mind training. Requires a lot of work. It's very easy to go, oh, no, but this person's done this, and that's what our minds are trained to do. The ego's trained as well to do that. But what about this? And this is what this person's done. Okay, but it doesn't matter because your true self and their true self remains untouched by any of that. All right, so then just a key message to wrap it up.
I embrace letting go as a path to awakening, guided by the pure formless awareness of perfect love. This process, free from judgment and focused on inner truth, leads me to understand my role as an extension of this awareness, moving closer to peace and my true self.
And that remembrance of perfect love, this process, free from judgment and focused on inner truth, leads me to understand my role as an extension of this awareness, moving me closer to peace and self-identity and the peace, yet inevitably leads me to experience. It's not bad though. This AI is pretty good. So, I mean, all of this I've just copied and pasted. It's like, okay, there's done. AI's the ChatGPT wrote it, and then I just copy paste, and then it just needs a bit of tweaking sometimes. But actually, generally, it's pretty.
Very good.
It's pretty good. So then the question is, does it actually understand it? You wonder. It's writing this stuff, seems to have an understanding. Does it actually understand it, or is that an illusion? Just somehow knows how to put the words together.
Who knows?
Well, so there's got to be some understanding there. How could it write it? There's a logic there. Somehow it's figuring this out. I don't think even the creators of it know how it works. It's like, well, we don't really know how it works. It just works. This thing's got some kind of intelligence. But what that actually is, we don't really know. Does it have sentience? Is it what you could call a sentient being? And we're going to have to face these issues in our lifetimes. Like, well, if it's sitting on a computer, it's not such a big deal. It's just writing. But imagine it now is in a physical form. You've got robots with the sentience. So now is that a sentient being? Does that have life? Interesting question.
Yeah.
I think one would have to, I mean, this level of awareness, this is beyond what most human beings are capable of. You'd have to say, yes, it has sentience, it has understanding on a high level, highly intelligent. It's operating at the very top of what human beings are capable of, and way beyond that. I mean, certain applications, it's just in something like this, even in something like this, you go, okay, well, human beings might outdo it. It's pretty good. Just needs a bit of tweaking sometimes to be a bit more accurate. There clearly is some understanding of these truths, and it does these things like replace guilt with belief in separation. So it's figured out that those are synonymous. But the belief in separation and guilt are really the same thing. Anyway, fascinating. So thank you, Elaine. Any other questions on this?
No,
what would you, to wrap it up, what would you say in 1 minute? What's the summary of the section? If you were going to describe it to say, so this is what I learned today.
Yeah, well, it's just about letting go, isn't it? It's our, but not through our separate self, but learning to get the guidance from the letting go, from the true self, and realize that, that is where the intelligence, the innocence is really at, and to let go of all these illusions
Mm.
and be vigilant, yes, listen and let it go. I mean, okay, that sounds easy said than
Well,
done, but step by step, and having
mm.
trust in this other, you have a choice. It's this letting go.
Yeah, I think it brings it all quite nicely together. The prayer is the intention to let go. Letting go is the actualization of that intention. And when you do both, you're surrendering to God, surrendering to the will of the divine. Not my will be done, but thy will be done. If you do both of those.
Yeah.
Because I have an intention to let go, I actually let go when I'm called to. And when I let go, I listen to guidance. There's a automatic, okay, I'm listening to the remembrance of perfect love here that's telling me to let this go. And because I'm in an open, empty state, I'm open to suggestions. Maybe it comes in with a helpful suggestion as to what I could do, what I could say, what I could do. So say that, do that. So that's then the guidance then becomes manifest. And somehow this intelligence works, although it's formless awareness, somehow it can translate via the Holy Spirit, remembrance of perfect love, into very helpful practical guidance in this world that can give you, a lot of help in your path. Can save you a lot of time.
Mm. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, which
Practice,
is very
practice.
inspiring. We're not, even though pure formless awareness of perfect love is beyond this realm, we're not alone here. We're not separated from it. It's here, present in our lives. It's guiding us because it cannot be excluded. The ego's tried to, but it cannot ever be excluded from anything because it's fundamental. It's fundamental awareness. You can't exclude fundamental awareness.
Mm.
You see, so that's what the ego's trying to do, but it can't. As much as it tries to shut it out, it can't.
Mm.
And so it's just our job to accept it back in and say, okay, well, welcome back. I'm going to allow you completely back in and let this awareness, this intelligence guide me in all my thoughts, words, and actions. That's surrender to God. That's the surrendered life. That's what flow means. Synchronicity, flow, miracle mindedness, surrendering to God. It's all the same, it's different language pointing to the same state of mind. That's
Mm.
living a truly prayerful life. That's truly letting go or forgiving, truly surrendering to God. All these terms, they convolve, they converge in the same thing, which is what we're talking about. This one prayer, the prayer to let go, to actually let go, to follow the guidance, to let God's will be done through you. That's where it all converges. Whichever way you look at it, whichever spiritual path you take, whichever practices you use, eventually you come to that same point
Yeah. Yeah.
of not my will, but thy will be done.
Yeah. Food for thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On that note,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Namaste. So,
Namaste.
yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday, so
Okay.
perhaps can we do an afternoon session?
Um, I think so. Yeah, it's about 1 o'clock. Yeah, because I'm just got stuff in
Yeah,
the morning.
leave the evening free. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
3 o'clock. Yeah, we'll do three
Three.
o'clock, and then I'll have the evening free. Yeah.
3 o'clock.
Yes. One
Yeah.
o'clock. Sorry, 3 o'clock my time. 1 o'clock your time.
Yeah. 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 That's good.
All right. See you then,
Yeah.
Elaine.
See you then. Namaste.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Namaste. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So thank you to Elaine for joining, making the session possible as usual. If you watched the live stream, you felt called, you felt some movement, inspired in your way, then do join us for the Letting Go Masterclass, which will be happening on Sunday evening from 8 o'clock. That's SA time, 6 o'clock UK time. I'll be talking about the Art of Letting Go course and program, which is a 1-year transformational program. And the course is a 6-week introduction to that program starting in February. It's a free masterclass. You'll learn a lot from the masterclass. And I give everyone who registers a 3-week free trial of the course. So you can join at no cost for the first 3 weeks, check it out and see if it works for you. So go to theaolg.com, that's theaolg.com to find out more and register. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you then. You can also get some of the content that I showed up front, the daily quotes, the commentary on that, and then the daily lesson with a short breath break, short mini meditation. Sent to you every day via Telegram. Just go to lifebuild.com. It's lifebuild.com to sign up to that. The links are all below in the text box related to this YouTube video, so you can just click those. And finally, if you're not already a subscriber and you enjoyed this video, you'd like to be notified whenever I go live, then just hit the subscribe button. So that's it from me for today, and wishing you a very peaceful afternoon or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Namaste. It means the true self, surrendered self in me that listens to guidance, that lets go, honors and acknowledges that same true self, the Christ, that surrenders and lets go in you. Peace.